Hello, this video will be the first in my philosophy playlist and will serve as an introduction to my basic moral philosophy. Now, my philosophies are based around the philosopher Immanuel Kant, who is a German philosopher and possibly the greatest philosopher to have ever lived. Now, his basic moral philosophy is called Deontology, which is in stark contrast to consequentialism. Now, consequentialism is the greatest good for the greatest number of people. If an action fulfills that, then it's morally correct. In deontology, however, there is no such thing as the greater good. And essentially, the consequences of an action do not matter towards its morality. Now, there are three general rules to deontology. The first is that an action is morally right if everyone did it all the time, then it would make the world a better place. An action is morally wrong if everyone did it all the time, then the world would be worse. An example is lying. You can quickly see that lying is morally wrong because if everyone lied all the time, the world would be a crazy place, and it would essentially go to hell very quickly. The second rule is that people are ends in themselves and not means. This essentially means you cannot manipulate people, because people are ends. You cannot use a person as a means to get your end, because a person is an end in itself. You cannot morally use a person as a means to get to your end. The third is that each person is a separate moral entity. This destroys the concept of a greater good, because each person's morality is not determined based on everyone else, but is determined solely based on themselves. Now, this philosophy does have several issues. Being that you can never lie, what if this happens? A murderer walks to your front door and asks where your friend is, intent on killing your friend. According to Kant, the only moral action here would be to say, or to tell him where he is, because lying is morally wrong. Kant and I, however, do not see any issue with this, because you cannot tell the ramifications of any action. So, if you tell him he's in the house down the street, your friend might have moved out from that house. The murderer might not find him in that house. The police might show up and kill him anyway. And so on and so forth. You cannot tell the results of an action before it happens. Therefore, you cannot truly tell the full ramifications. Because what if you say he's next door, and your friend, having feared that he might be found down the street, moves to your next door. He is found and killed. Or your friend starts running down the street, and the murderer, as he walks out to go next door because of your lie, sees him running down the street and takes him down. You cannot tell the ramifications of any action. Also, the consequences do not matter. Lying is morally wrong. Therefore, the consequences of a action in which you lie, though they may not be for your benefit, is morally wrong. Deontology doesn't pull any punches. This is why I like it. It is an indication of any action's morality. You can take any action, and based on the rules of deontology, you can consider whether it is morally right or wrong based on a simple rule. There's none of this wishy-washy consequentialism. This is essentially why I like deontology. It's simple. And there's my intro to it. So, thank you for your time, good evening, and God bless.